Hello, I'm commentating over my BG's matches in the Stone Tourney. This video contains both round 1 and 2. So, starting up here, first round, facing Mitram. And my bands generally target science champs. I end the Tiger band because she's broken, but I end up not because I want to use my own Tigra. So switch over to hit Photon and then hit Monkey. Just want to remove some bullseye counters, primarily. Would have helped Swoman out too, but she was also banned. Just gonna go ahead and pick up some easy to use champs. Tiger kind of nukes almost everything, and Thanos is pretty much the best Battlegrounds champion. It's kind of hard to contest with him. Anyhow, pick my 2 rank 4s, easy enough. I see a Nick Fury. Currently, Tiger is my best option. I pick up Starkey in case I want to get a Wacky, and Onslaught in case of Bullseye, which shows up, which is nice. That Juggernaut will run through most of my defenders, but, well, same with the Tiger actually, but hopefully I can split him between 2 and set myself up for a nice layup. Then last pick, I have a Nico Minoru, which he doesn't really have counters for, and since this is the Gladiator circuit, placebo buffs are gonna cook him to death. Anyhow, he goes with the Bullseye on defense, and to me, that's one of the easier fights I can take. I throw down Fat Man. He's not the toughest, but the glancing can get pretty annoying. So, uses Juggernaut, fine by me, and I'll use Onslaught. This should be a pretty simple matchup. I'm going to start with 3 hits, parry, and then do 2 lights to passive stun. That's all or known. However, I make the mistake of dexing, forgetting about Power Snack, and now I'm eating a special 3 on what should have been a simple fight. Fortunately for me though, I get bailed out quite a bit, as you'll see. Anyhow, I'm just gonna do a bunch of basics to stack Mini Shocks, use the special 2 to apply degen, and that should be pretty simple. Here, almost ate another special 3, but did not dex. Here, try to go for the fancy special 1 dex, get punished for it. It's whatever. Special 1 finishes the job. And as you'll see, 46k for Onslaught versus Bullseye, not very good, but this meta is quite tough, so I do not get punished for it this time, fortunately. And pretty soon we'll be headed to round 2, where I can place Nico Minoru, try my best on whatever defender he places, and win, ideally. Waiting a while. I believe he timed out actually. If I had to guess, most likely got a bunch of hits glanced and combined with Power Snack. Just not a lot of openings to really wail on Fan Man. So, a nice round 1 win. Yeah. We both acknowledge that this was a very undeserved round. placing first, I mean, Nico, you could hypothetically use Nick Fury, use the second life to revive himself essentially. It is only a 6-star after all. Or you could actually use Tigra and neutralize all the buffs and not worry about getting poisoned, but instead he goes Iron Heart, which I can only see being lots of pain. And so I have a pretty straightforward matchup to execute. Really just a matter of bait special 2s and punish his heavies. Here, I utilize the inexorable to get a cheeky second heavy. I will say though, not very worth it. Should just play it safe. But we don't play it safe around here. After all, who doesn't love playing risky? Power Snack pushes him to a special 2, makes it easy to set up the punish, gives me the heavy right away. I want to go for another heavy to push him the second life early, but I don't. It's fine. After all, it's only a Nick Fury. Not the toughest matchup for Tiger, just a matter of not fumbling. See some basics and special to finish up the fight. And yeah, he got obliterated by Nico Minoru. If I had to guess, she shot straight up to a special 3 and one shot because she is a champion for sure. Now, onto the next match. Feeling a little confident, but at the same time, feeling a little dazed. I had just finished a fairly long drive, so a little tired, but not tired enough to really make it an excuse. I believe I stick with the Sam bans this time. Kind of just double checking his bullseye counters to see if banning Hitmonkey really does anything. Figure, yeah, I'll do it again. Fat Man, pretty easy pick. Kind of use him for everything. Nice dual threat. Of course, gets run over by Cosmics like Thanos pretty easily, but still fun to place and use. Now I take Lumatrix, kind of just like also another just pick because rank 4, he doesn't really do much stuff other than being rupture immune. But, you know, sometimes that's all you need. Now, that Enchantress, I picked the Bluke to counter. Also, Tigra, once again, takes everything. The Domino is a little concerning, but if need be, I'll use Thanos or maybe even... Did I get him? Oh yeah, I got feature Ant-Man to save me, just in case. Now here, if he had placed or picked Bullseye, that would have been a free round win for him. I had no counter, but instead he goes with his own Lumatrix, which I am completely fine with. Yeah. Honestly, I forgot when I picked Man-Thing, but Man-Thing is nice because placebos feed into his abilities of nullifying everything and placing poisons. Now, I'm facing this Lumatrix, which will be tough, as you'll see. Now, I baited out the Tigra. Tigra versus Man-Thing is a pretty straightforward matchup. Usually equal ranks, it's like 40 seconds, but he's punching down, probably gonna be 30. Now, I intercept at the start to get all my armors, end up just going right into his heavy and paying the price. I try to do some cheeky quaking in the corner, utilizing the untouchable. However, I do have tracking because he evaded, so that's a mistake on my part. Here, I'll just push him to red, utilize any power drain I have to take him down from there. And from here, it's just a matter of getting to my special 2, which I do with a little sidestep. And the fight is over. Would have been pretty fast had I not eaten a hit. Fortunately for me, he does mess up against the man thing. So, nice layup for me. Going into round 2, he places Enchantress. I'm thinking, I'll throw McFury down and bait out one of his mutants, hopefully, which ends up being Domino, which is the ideal because I hate fighting Domino. Oh, never mind, he switched to Onslaught, which I do not recall. Oh, never mind, that's right. Anyhow, onto this Enchantress fight. With Luke, especially, or with his dupe, he does have an indestructible when he's hit, so the plan is to bait special 3, however, he throws a special 1 in the hard block, and you'll just see the fight devolve into utter sadness. I make a lot of mistakes here. Well, there. Honestly, the mistake in that case was just not pushing Enchantress to special 3 as fast as possible. Now I got hit in the corner, can't intercept. It's all going wrong. She backs up and parries my dash instead of giving me the intercept. I get the intercept there. Finally, all her spells are removed, but I'm already down at half HP. And because I punished with no exhaustions, I get the full, or I give Enchantress full power, I miss the cold intercept, it's all going wrong. I kind of just back up trying to go for another intercept, miss it. Block. Oh, did not get it there, but got a nice cheeky backdraft. But at this point, I believe I just miss a dex here and die. So, pretty pathetic fight from my end. And I don't believe he makes any, well, he made some mistakes, but not nearly enough to give me the round. So, we're on to round 3. Here, I'm gonna throw Numatrix on defense and pray that he uses Domino. Even if he does place Domino, I'll have Thanos as an option, but as we'll see here, he decides to go with Chavez, which is an interesting choice for sure, but in his defense, he is pretty cooked in this round 3, especially if he doesn't feel as comfortable taking Lumitrix with Chavez and Red Skull. So I have this pretty, kind of like a story quest fight, honestly. Targa versus Chavez is easy enough. Just use your heavy to miss the special 1. Want to bait one more special 1 to give me a little more ruptures. Then I just throw this. Gonna get ready to throw a special 1, but she dies. So there goes Chavez in 29, giving me the win here. Fortunately, Domino does not do crazy things, such as a 30 seconds into double massive crits. But you never know with the Domino. Anyhow, it will take him a while to get out of this fight. I believe he got cornered or something. He'll come out pretty battered and bruised, so. Oh, actually, yeah, he just died to Lumatrix. Luma is a little more difficult this meta with the power snack. I would say that ideally you want people that can either counter the miss and or evade, or kill him before he gets the throw special, which is mainly Starkey. Anyhow, this time around I switch things up because I'm realizing he's not really banning Lumatrix if he's got his own. So instead of Photon, I ban Tigra. Since he's rank 4, he has the rank advantage, and just want to eliminate complexity. Now, I pick White Tiger. Frankly, she's just a new rank 4, and I like stress testing her. And then Nick Fury is always a great pick. Unless they've already drafted Deadpool, in which case, use your eyes, come on now. Anyhow, Lumatrix is nice for that Photon, Sinister, in case Bullseye shows up. Or I have to use it on his Lumatrix. Now, I get Enchantress and Starkey. Once again, Starkey's just a nice general attacker, and Enchantress, she's a Mystic. All Mystics are nightmares on defense this meta, assuming they have Mystic Dispersion. Now, I'll pick up Atuma here. I'm kind of caught without a counter. Gives me the early GGs. I decide to grab Zola because he doesn't have the greatest options. He does have Juggernaut, which will work well, but I am able to take away his Juggernaut by placing Nick Fury, which I'll use here. And I will end up using Starkey for Atuma, which is unfortunate because that was my best Enchantress counter, or just attacker in general, but I just ought to use him here and pray. Now, I believe the first half of this fight goes well. Stacking up poise, not getting cornered immediately because he is dashing back after every dash in, which is nice. Get the 8. There, I accidentally parry, which is highly unfortunate. I'm pretty much at 10 poise now, so let's go ahead and wail on him. Trying to beat him as fast as possible, using the heavy because it's one less hit, or less hits than using lights and mediums. Come out with a 48k score. This will not be enough to win, unfortunately, but I believe I can still make this work. Now, checking, I'll have Lumatrix for Photon. His Enchantress will be quite a pain, and his Hulk could stun lock my Enchantress to death, which is highly unfortunate for future Ant-Man. He's most likely holding it for my Sinister in case I put him on defense. Now, I throw Arnim Zola because he doesn't really have good options. Lumatrix can do Zola, however, it's not the fastest, and with this power snack, it is just even slower. Now he places Hulk on defense, which is quite the shock to me. And I'm kind of running through my choices and decide that White Tiger isn't really going to be that insane elsewhere. She could take Enchantress for me, hypothetically, but I decide that I'll be fine. Now, Hulk isn't really boosted or anything. It's just make sure you don't get clipped by a special and either stunned to oblivion or just a big fat special 2 trauma crit and the like. Going for a special bait here. In addition, I also gotta watch out for that unstoppable. I'm doing everything in my power to slowly attack him. Once he's at 14, I'm gonna parry and attack. Pray that I push him to rage, which I do, and there's no longer a unstoppable to worry about. I drop my special, and he's pretty much dead. So, nice 50k, punching down on a science. It's whatever. It's a nothing defender, really. Now, round 3, if he places Photon, I can place Enchantress, give him a bad time. If he places Enchantress, which is most likely, I could go for Sinister, give him the Fat-Man fight. However, I do end up, well, ideally, I'd have Lumitrix to take Enchantress because he has anti-miss and, in general, it's pretty nice for locking down fights fast, especially with the rank advantage. However, I don't believe I can have that luxury, so what I end up doing after he times out to the Zola, which is fair enough. It's not an ideal fight, to say the least. But round 3, I'm gonna be facing an Enchantress, and I decide to place Lumitrix on defense. Just pray that he does some stupid things. Even though Photon does have anti-miss, I do have faith, or I'll have to have faith that he does something horrendous to her. And for Sinister, this is a terrible matchup, just because the runway for getting yourself set up gives Enchantress pretty much enough power to have a special one at all times. Now I'm gonna anti-bait here, get myself a nice 9 degens, holding block, just don't want her to throw a special, push her to special 3. Now here was my reasoning. Most people are pushing Enchantress to special 3 this meta just because for anyone that's not a power control champ, it's inevitable, pretty much. Now I go for the repair here, so, well, anyhow, back to the special 3 eating. Since it feels inevitable, may as well use someone tanky that can take care of it. Throw 12 degens, unfortunately without Vicious. Now you'll see there that she did not throw a special 3, just utilizing Sinister's along with special 1 animations. It keeps the special 3 locked, lets them stand up, get aggressive without having the ability to throw a special, and usually lets you get away with reparry after special 1, as you see here. This will allow me to get a little more damage. He throws a special 1 there. Concerning, but fortunately I take the gamble. Don't miss. There's a special 1 in the block there. I'm just gonna stall out as long as I can, but unfortunately she throws the special 3 again, and by the time I get out, she is going to die, and I will not be able to willpower the damage back. Which is fine, it's whatever. Once again, bailed out. Not sure what happened with Lumitrix, but we take those. And with that, I've won 3-0 against Metro. Good game. And on to round 2 against Big Law, or 1, 2, 3, 4 Chicken. Now, looking at Big Law's roster, let's immediately filter to Science. Let's move my target. Let's take away Spider-Ham and Photon. And then I see he has Okoye. Okoye takes a very wide variety of my defenders, such as Bullseye, kind of Dark Phoenix, Spider-Woman. So Okoye is a pretty beneficial band to me. I take Serpent and Kushala. Serpent's just a menace like always. Kushala, I feel more comfortable using her for Serpent than Spiral this meta. Here, he gets Dazzler and Jugs. I get Dazzler for Nullify Immunity and Nico Minoru because, well, she's a mystic, and all mystics are painful. But especially Nico. Nico will convert all placebos prevented by buff immunity into poison, which is no fun. Now I take Spider-Woman here and Dark Phoenix. Now I've effectively split his chakra, however, he immediately rolls into a Nico Minoru for my Dark Phoenix, which is unfortunate, but does draft the Enchantress. So, no longer has to fight my Spider-Woman, but in exchange does give me a easy enough fight. Here, kind of scanning my options. Decided to go with Nico Minoru. And he goes Dazzler. Dazzler's got the Nullify immunity, so at the very least, she's not gonna feed MD as soon as she starts attacking. Plus, she doesn't get a dex buff, so not terrible, but if it were in my hands, I would not have done as well as he did, as you'll see. Anyhow, onto the Spider-Woman. This is a pretty straightforward fight. I don't really play it the best either, but it's quite difficult to mess this up, to be frank. Here, I hit her, she's like almost at a bar. In fact, I get her. Bailed out with evade, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna give Spider-Woman enough debilitates, those spells are gonna do nothing to me. Get a little backdraft to remove some spells, 6 debilitates. From this point, I really shouldn't have to worry about any specials. So, I build up to special 1, throw it twice. Spider-Woman gets to feed off the power from Power Snack. Enchantress is dead. So, it was a pretty straightforward fight. Once again, pretty tough to mess up. Quite frankly, I should have done it way better, but it's fine. As you see, Big Law takes Nico in 63, 47k. Pretty impressive for Nico Minoru this meta. Nico is probably one of the scariest defenders, especially if you don't have like a optimal counter. So finishing the fight that healthy is pretty impressive. Now I plays Enchantress. He doesn't really have the greatest option. I mean, Jugs can go for the nuke, but it's not gonna be pretty if any part of it goes wrong. I picked Dazzler for Sinister because she can just kind of nuke if you get a bit lucky. Granted, this is only a rank 3 Sinister, so it's equal rank. not as many issues. I'm going to be going for 2 special ones to seal the deal for my specialty. Fortunately for me, Dazzler still gets her tempo despite attacking while concussed, so they don't slow me down that much. 2 Mystics were unfortunate, but since the concussion isn't that bad, it doesn't really bother me too much. Gonna be another special one by now. He doesn't have that bleed on him. Can bait another special one. For my special 2, fortunately, last hit crits, or enough hits crit before the final hit to leave him low. And since he's still in there, it's basically a secured victory for me. And we'll be moving on to the next game in a moment. Yeah, unfortunately for him, Enchantress did Enchantress things. And on to game 2 of round 2 of this tournament. Most likely I will not be switching up my bands this time just because targeting the sciences like I always do is going to prove to be quite effective. And Okoye is also versatile. Here, I decided to go for Bullseye, just get Onslaught to remove any problem of Bullseye and Yelena. Here, I get Tigra for any Cosmic, such as Serpent or Thanos. Here, I take Enchantress, which can get nuked by Tiger, granted. However, at the moment, I'm thinking that my Serpent will do the job of keeping Tiger away from Enchantress. Here I pick White Tiger for another Serpent option and Thanos option if backed into a corner. Frankly, my Tiger is pretty versatile. Doesn't really do any fight fast, but does get the fight down most of the time. Here, I'm just gonna throw down Serpent. Bait out that Tigra. Oh. Here, I'm thinking, don't really need Starkey anywhere else other than maybe Thanos. It's gonna be my best bet for this Enchantress. Besides, if I try in this round, he has to try in hand. So he uses Tigra. Now this has got to be a pretty one of the funniest fights of all time. Enchantress gives me very nice starting spells. Just a simple knockdown will do the trick. Although I get cornered fast, but luckily I get my poise. I hit her. Tried to go for the stand up on third to heavy. Does not pay off. Now she has an intercept spell. I used the heavy, hoping that it would remove the green spell. It does not. So could not intercept her after to remove the orange. And now this is pretty much a doomed position. However, I slow play, maybe get back to an EMP. Nah, it's not showing up. I go for a devious intercept. Should not have happened, especially while she's taunted. I see EMP pop up. I go for the heavy midair. She just decides to block. And I have basically robbed this round because I'm in shock. I'm assuming he did Serpent 41, but alas, he is still in there. And pretty soon we'll see that my trickery has landed me this win. I sent him to Kabammed. He doesn't know what happened. He's assuming it's been a normal fight, but I know that I did not deserve this round. Now, I'm putting me in a pretty comfortable position where, He's also placing first, so I gotta react accordingly. Places a Thanos. Likely. Let's see here. Third Enchantress bait out the Starkey. Oh, I use Onslaught because not gonna be useful anywhere else, and considering Shocker would run through him on defense. And it's not as if I'll time out in this match anyhow, because Daunted's work through protection. Now I'm gonna use the Inexorable to get some double heavies. Pushing the special 2 helps with keeping down necrotic energy. Not really my intention though. I get some heavy intercepts because this reach is insane. There I push him unstoppable, but he doesn't punish me, so I get free willpower. Here, just pretty textbook. Make sure to punish the special one with a heavy, keep your things paused. You don't need to parry necessarily, but it is nice. There, I wanted to push him to protection before throwing special 2, did it successfully. Here, he has a special 2 throw. Go for another heavy intercept. Go for it again. Since he resisted, I don't get the pause, but that's fine. And I go for the special 1 here, even though he's got protection up, because Daunted is very cool and the antithesis of protection. And he does not get the same luck as I do. And on to the next round, or game. Here, kind of just taking a pause, but bans are gonna be the same, like always. Nothing else is gonna provide value. Switching. Here, take Sinister. Yeah, it's pretty easy pickup. Just Sinister's useful for any skill defender, really, or anyone except the Tuma. He picks up Shocker for my Sinister and Zola because he's annoying. This is a terrible pick, but I decided to just roll with it. Dazzler once again for Nullify Immunity and Luma. He takes Kindred and Nico. I'm pretty concerned, but I get a very good draft here. Bullseye. Well, he has no counters. Tigra basically gets me one good chance of winning a round with a broken attacker. I'll place him first. He gets Tigra. Scary, but can't really do anything to my Bullseye, so go ahead and throw. Oh, I guess Tigra is only there for Thanos. I use Starkey here. I don't have to bust out Thanos for Zola in this case because there's nearly nothing he can do about Bullseye. So I just have to use someone that won't completely time out. And yeah, this is pretty simple. Get your poises up, and then hit Zola to death. With the power snack, it gets easier to push him to special 1s, so don't have to do any intercepting really. Go for baiting it here. Finally 10 poise. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, just dex stuff, bait specials. I'm gonna make sure to use a medium to get myself to the relic for a free heavy. He actually throws another special, but it's fine, he's nearly dead. I can throw a special 2 here. Gives me a bunch of shocks. Great RNG, and the shocks finish him off because he has triple damage to robots. which Zola is. So, nice cook on my part. Once again, round one, or winning round one, gives you a very nice advantage, considering that you can decide whether or not to try. In this case, I go with throwing, I think Lumitrix? Yeah, Lumitrix to bait out Thanos. He can't Tigra, and yeah, he can't Tigra Lumitrix because Rupture Immunity and Shocker is saved for Sinister. So I use Sinister here, will benefit me round 3, and usually Sinister works well with Nico, but as you'll see in a moment, it does not, or I don't produce that great of a score. Bit of loading time, unfortunate. It is what it is. I get extremely lucky with the genetic code. Two mystics help me get special ones as soon as possible, and one cosmic for good measure. Nice damage. I prematurely throw the special one, so I only get 60 gens. Not great, but it's whatever. Using the extra combo power rate, I'm able to get another special one. Just slowing it down. Stalling. And here, like Enchantress, I planned on just tanking the special 3, low powering it back. I was like, okay, 84%, that's fine. Bam! Nearly die. Turns out Sinister's self-inflicted bleeds contribute to her attack damage, so that's very cool. Pretty swag. Anyhow, Nico dies shortly after. After all, it is only 6-star. That round, did not expect them to get hurt as badly. So, kind of within winnable range, but it is what it is. Experimenting with matchups. Now, in this last round, I'm gonna be racing a rank 4 Tiger with my rank 3. I've got to fight a Serpent, he's got to fight Thanos. The Serpent has a higher chance of screwing me over, whereas Thanos is gonna stall him a little longer because of protections. So my hope is that everything goes right here. Now he hits my block, gives himself that inexorable. So I go for the second heavy. Should not, or I would recommend not doing that. He goes for full 5 hits. That's very cool. Power Snack and my special nearly push him to 3, but fortunately I don't. Every special 2 is going to be denied by Power Snack and Fear, so I have to chain my special 2 with my heavy every single time. And luckily Fear will kind of remove all that block damage I took from those basics. There, try to hit him with a stand-up special 1. Just using basics to kill, thinking burst kills, but no ruptures do. And that's about as nice of a Serpent fight I can ask for. I can certainly go faster, but who am I to complain? Wins me the round, wins me the game. And that concludes it for round 2 of the Stone Tourney. I'll be continuing to commentate my other games. Thanks for watching.